Hey everyone, welcome back to another Persona 5 Patterns video, and as we can see, Najox just came out with our global Japan and SEA 1.1 joules count for the, like I said, 1.1 patch. And what we're seeing is that we're looking at getting about 7,000 worth of meta joules, or 5,200 if we exclude the tickets, as a free-to-play player. I think that's quite good, considering, as we can see here, average rewards for 2 weeks patch on GCN is between 6 and 8k. And he says usually towards the 8k mark. I think it's actually towards the 7k personally from what I'm seeing. As we can see, I pulled up a bunch of the other patch rewards he was talking about in the past. So I think 7k is right along of, I think, a good number. It's a really good number because it's right along where CN got. And we also got to realize that as a global, yeah, we're going to have to expect a little less than some of the other than CN's going to get, because let me tell you, a Chinese company will put a lot more into the Chinese side of servers just because of how much more money they'll make compared to the global side. So I'm completely okay with this, and I hope you guys are too. But I'm hoping we're able to see now that global side of things is not getting shafted as much as we were thinking. Yes, we are getting shafted in the sense of right here. Where is it? It's basically where we're getting shafted is the server maintenance, as well as the codes, as we'll see down here. Where is it? So less rewards is 100% true because there is less jams on maintenance. There's also no gift codes. So, but we kind of made up for it with the fact that we got the 7, I believe it was 7 weapon pulls from the daily login. Wait, why do you only put 5? I believe it was 7 though. They 1 to 7 equals, yeah. So you put 5, but it's actually 7 weapon pulls. And as we can see here, even though they gave us a login bonus, which CN didn't get for this patch, it has 7 pulls instead of 10. So assuming that these 7 pulls were the equivalent to the server maintenance in the codes, I'm okay with that. But this is also assuming that in the future that we are going to start getting the 10 pulls instead. If it's only ever 7, then yes, we are going to start losing significantly, as Najox has said. But I think this is really good to see the fact that global is not getting shafted as much. Yes, again, we are going to lose out compared with the sped up version, but it's not as severe as people were fearing, and I'm really happy to see this. I think we're assuming this goes forward, and we're going to see in the future, as seen like right here, like this was the 2.3 gem count. Total free to play was between 75 or basically 76 to 7,700. So not too bad at all. While this was of course a Haru rewards. So they had, where is it, crossfates. So crossfates plus another event. That's why it's a little higher than the 8k. So 84 to 86. This is when Howler came out, right around, I believe. And the whole reason they got so much between 77 and 7,800 is because of the Akihabara treasure hunt quest. This is an amazing quest line, and you get, like, literally right here you see 1,160 just from doing this one quest. So very big rewards from there. But if we took away that, then we would only actually be, well, right here, we'd only be around the 70, 60, 77, 60, 67. So as we can see, an average patch for China and TW, we're actually around, I would say, around the 7k if you took away a lot of the big one-time rewards. We should be instead looking at the recurring, and as we can see from our recurring rewards, we're at 2,500, so a little low. But if we can start getting some of the either continue with the pulls, the free pulls they give us from the daily login, or if they start giving us more maintenance rewards as well as codes, and then I think getting up to 3k for the recurring content, I think we're looking at a really good place. Even when we look at something like this, like look at when Katsumi came out, I believe. They only got 6k. And that's including the P5R collab. So right there, we can see that China and TW weren't always having amazing patches. And I think for a 1.1 to have 7,000 gems just from the recurring and new event, especially since this was our first patch after 2 weeks, and so many, like, at this point, I think if I did the map, I think we were looking at, including the standard pulls we were given, we were probably looking at getting 350 to 400 pulls So basically, everyone could have guaranteed 1.5 characters. I mean, like literally 240 of those pulls, or 200 plus of those pulls. I'm talking about for a limited character pull. So I think we're looking quite. I think we're not looking good, but we're looking fine. We're looking fine. Compared to this one right here is 9K, because right here, Amber's from Palace Exploration. So this was a Palace expansion map patch. So of course they're going to see more. When we get 2.0, of course we're going to see a big influx of gems. We're going to be up to the 9 to 10K. While we look at, this was their Chinese New Year. So when we get Chinese New Year, we're going to look at probably having a 10K plus patch, hopefully. Because of how many, just from how generous they were. And hopefully they'll keep doing that, the same as Sega does, the same as the Black Wings did. While again, when we look at the 3.4, which I believe was Matoi, they only got about 7K, which is about average of us. And I'm going to tell you right now, 1.1 wasn't a big patch for us. I understand that they rolled in 2 patches into 1, which kind of sucks. But I think it is what it is, and we kind of just have to accept to a certain extent that what we got was pretty good. Like, it's not amazing, but it's average from what we should be expecting. About 7 to 8K. I actually had a question while I was streaming today. How much do you think we should be expecting? I said probably around 7 to 8K. And then once we start getting to like the 3-week patches, we're looking at like probably 10K, I would say. So I think at the end of the day, I think we're looking fine for what we're getting right now. And I think with this, hopefully people start kind of relaxing and kind of chilling out a little bit, especially with the live stream happening in the morning. I'm kind of excited to see what we're getting. And then of course, always seeing what Najox averages out to, because I always like it when he does these kind of videos, because then it actually gives us a good idea of what we got. And that's why I want to say shout out to Najox for doing this kind of stuff for us. And I think it's big. But at the end of the day, like I said, comparing everything that the other patches got for China and the fact that we have Sega as a publisher, I think we're doing okay. I'm not saying that we shouldn't ask for more. I'm absolutely not saying that, because we are having an expedited schedule. But the fact of the matter is that since we are we're basically being run from a Japanese company, I think we're doing fine for what we're getting. Especially when you compare it to other gacha games, we are still getting a lot more, comparatively speaking, of how much cheaper it is to pull characters and the weapons, compared to like the Wuthering Waves, the Genshin, the Honkai Star Rail. I think they're being quite generous with us, because if we're getting like average 14,000 a month, that's more than 80. That's more than 80 pulls. Like, that's 90 pulls a month. That's in 4 weeks. Other games are like, Genshin gets like 70 pulls every 6 weeks. Wuthering Waves gets that, and gets what we're getting right now for this small patch, like for 2 small patches we're going to be getting for 1.1 and 1.2. They're getting that in 6 weeks. So we're going to have an extra 2 weeks on that. So when we compare it from a 6-week gacha to a 4-week, what we're getting, if we're compared to like 6-week to 6-week, we could be looking at getting 20,000 plus gems, which is almost enough to entirely pity one character. So that's almost an entire guarantee for a character. So that means literally every 2 months, we are guaranteed. I mean, when I say guaranteed, I mean going 160 out of 160. So 2 back-to-backs, 80 for 80s. And I think that's pretty good, if this is what we're expecting. Again, if this is what we're expecting. If we can continue getting the 7K, and I think people are going to be looking quite good to get Makoto, Cord, or Summer Closer, whichever 2 they want. As long as you're not going crazy with your gem pulls right now, I think you're looking quite good. But with that, I hope you guys have a good day, good night, wherever you are in life, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye bye.